Good evening. This is a channel update post Royal Rumble with me and Jimmy here. Is the 1st of February, which means only about 19 more days until our 25th, but that's besides the point. Um, I am updating this channel for a variety of reasons. First of all, I want to address the situation with the Royal Rumble podcast. I did not realize until yesterday or day before that I never turned the audio on, so the audio would record for our podcast. That's number one. Number two, I originally planned to start around 7 p.m. Sunday, right when the Royal Rumble started. However, things never materialized, and we were waiting for one of our family members close to around 9 o'clock. Unfortunate, because I promised Emerson we'd be starting at 7. So that just stinks. I don't think we ever updated the JFE podcast Facebook page to let people know about it too.
And we apologize for that.
Absolutely. So I got to kind of tell you what happened at the darn podcast a little bit. It was absolute pandemonium. The answers were just entertaining. I wasn't expecting what they were going to come up with the questions that I proposed. I thought it'd be more of a conversation based about sports, which turned out to be a dissing session. And I was saying during the podcast at one point, this podcast is like Ask Steve. It's going to you know what.
Yeah, obviously, we did, under no condition we were returning to a comedy side master.
I think you can see in the video me actually laughing a few times so hard. You couldn't hear it, but I bet you could see it. Hold on.
I will take over this podcast.
I got it.
All right.
So anyway, while Jimmy steps aside for a minute, I am now gonna update everybody on the Royal Rumbles while we're on right now. So I did not get to see the Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Luke Gallows Carl Anderson match. I believe the Legion of Doom. I'm jokingly speaking. The Gallows and Anderson won the tag team titles from Sheamus and Cesaro. There was a 6-woman tag team match between Bayley, Sasha. Who else? Or no? Hold on a second. Let me correct that.
I'm back online. I'm personally understanding myself in Boston. Decide to do so. So while we get out here, so up here, why there's some news out that Seth Rollins is injured his knee again.
I will get to that at this point in a little bit. Let me get to the 2017 Royal Rumble. I believe it's going to be Philly next year, too, on a side note. Okay, pre-show was Lynch, Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi faced Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya. That was the women's match, the 6 women's match tag match. So I was wrong about the Sasha being it. Nia Jax and Sasha faced each other, which Nia Jax won. I did not see that. I also did not see Charlotte Flair versus Bayley, and I believe she won. Now here's the matches that we did watch: Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns with Chris Jericho in what they call the Shark Cage. I call it the the Cage of Doom or the Cage of Jericho. Drink it in, man.
I don't know if we call it a Cage of Jericho, but that's, to be honest, that's one of the most stupid cages I've ever seen in wrestling. Measure. It was a pretty good. It was a pretty good match to say the least. The interesting part is they actually let Braun Strowman interfere in the match here. So that was.
I was pissed about that. I didn't think Braun Strowman needed to interfere, but after his explanation the next day on Raw, I could semi-understand that, but it's like, come on. I'm kind of tired of Kevin Owens being Universal Champion. I don't know how that storyline's going to go, if Reigns is going to get the title back at some point, or
I think
if Braun Strowman's going to get it.
I'll be right back. Right back, sorry, folks.
So yeah, I didn't think it was a bad match. It seemed kind of one-sided, if you ask me, with Kevin Owens. Then again, though, you're looking at, Roman Reigns definitely got some moves in and some creativity and got that aggression out, but at the same time, it's like, it wasn't really a back and forth compared to the classic between AJ Styles and John Cena, which we'll get to in a few minutes. I want to say, if you were going to give grades, I want to say a B minus. I felt like they felt a little bit short of what it could have been, but certainly not a bad match. You could debate that at the different levels. Again, it was a decent match. If I had to change my bet, it would be B minus C plus. I think it could have been better from from a creative standpoint, from a wrestling match perspective. Besides, yes, it's a no disqualification match, but Chris Jericho being up on the cage, that's fine, but he could have probably been used a little bit better. I think what really was going on in the storyline is that you held Chris Jericho in a cage so that he wouldn't interfere in the actual bout. But as usual with the heels, someone's got to interfere in a title match. Just like James Ellsworth interfering and costing Dean Ambrose the WWE Championship. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh yeah, I forgot about the brass knuckles that Chris Jericho dropped down from the cage and gave to Owens, and I was wondering if Roman Reigns would use that brass knuckles. I think he should have, but I will get him in a second. I'll let you talk for a few minutes because I was dead spotting it for a few minutes.
Well, thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. I'll let you mute your mic here. As far as my overall impression of Royal Rumble, honestly, I was a little bit underwhelmed with. Okay, you're talking about Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho there. The whole match, that was a very nice match, to be honest. I would still take out Shark. Maybe Shark Cage be more outside or instead of above the ring, but point. It's the point. It's a match. I mean, I think showstopper match in the night, as Shawn Michaels say, was John Cena versus AJ Styles match. That really was enough. You can book that early for match of the year right now. This is an early match of the year candidate as far as WWE is concerned. Was a true absolute. Both them were going back and forth in the match. I thought it was amazing work by both wrestlers. I mean, it seemed like Johnson was carrying the match at times. I mean, he just both were just something pulled off. I mean, it felt like one of those clinics right there. So that really kind of stole the show.
Oh, you're talking about Cena.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That match was.
I think you got into deep discussion. Well, let's talk about Neville and Rich Swann for a moment before.
Cruiserweights. I mean, the cruiserweights. I thought they were a pretty decent show. That match was
It seemed like a predicted outcome with Neville taking over. I can see why the cruiserweights have been struggling a little bit as far as developing.
There's not enough. They don't have enough time in Raw right now.
Yes, they have 205 Live lately, but it's like unless you have WWE Network, it's like I will debate this again. I feel like the cruiserweights should be on SmackDown instead of Raw. Maybe I'm wrong. I think making the cruiserweights exclusive to Raw might have been a bad idea in hindsight. Because if you had it on both, at least you had it on both shows. Maybe call it something a little bit different instead of the cruiserweights. I think you can have a little bit more brand variety and add an element to both shows without feeling creatively strapped.
That's a. I mean, I agree.
But going back to the I'm sorry to interrupt you, but going back to Rich Swann, Neville match. Neville has definitely become a legitimate heel. He exudes that he's very aggressive. You definitely believe he's a pain in the rear. But go ahead on what you were saying. I interrupted you. So what were you going to say?
Well, I totally agree. I don't know if I totally agree with being just exclusive on SmackDown, but I think
I meant both shows.
But they should be given more time. I mean, I think why WWE's not utilize more time for the cruiserweights. That's beyond me. I mean,
I think they are trying to with the 205, but putting it after SmackDown is kind of killing them, from what I understand. I think they could be a standalone show, maybe on a Wednesday or Thursday night, could maybe compete with Impact or something like that. But that maybe logistically speaking, when you're trying to do cruiserweights on Raw, it may not logistically and be possible, and efficiency and all that good stuff. But if I had to grade that one, what would you grade? I would say
a B minus. I think both competitors. I thought really Neville is definitely was the star of the show that night. I think I hate to say it, but Neville, he's totally in his character and really, I think ever since the change in character, I think he's come more of an, as you said, aggressive. I think a lot of people fans got stale with Neville being a good guy. Neville, like, the shifting direction I think has helped Neville. Neville's become a very, it's kind of like, and he fits well with the cruiserweight division. I mean, that's his.
Neville was on Neville was on like not really on the cruiserweight side of things before they came out with it. I think he could hang with most of the. But yeah, I would agree with you on as far as like the fitting the cruiserweight division. No, I would like to see him compete against like a Brian Kendrick or T.J. Perkins for a title. Maybe I've seen it's been done. I'm waiting for Austin Aries to get uninjured and come out and see how he does it with the cruiserweights. But as far as grading the cruiserweights, I want to say C. Nothing against like in ring, just like the story could have been a little bit more developed in some respects. So So now we'll go back to AJ versus Cena, and which was a match of the year. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, I was just saying a little bit minutes ago how I thought it was I thought it was the headline show of the night, practically.
I agree with you.
The Roman match there, which I'll give my thoughts in a minute. But it was an epic classic. Number one, there's for 69
Titles, yeah.
World Championship. I mean, who would ever have thought that the John Cena rugby just let alone high a huge feat itself. But I thought the match was high quality. There was a lot of back and forth. You didn't know who was going to totally win.
Especially with the movesets.
The movesets. Oh yeah, the movesets.
The back and forth. This match, if you want to say, this is one of the greatest matches outside of WrestleMania, I think, in the history of the WWE. I don't think I've totally seen AJ versus Cena last few times, but I think this time around they really worked their tails off and put in a classic. You want to call it Shawn Michaels versus
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart. You could say Shawn and Taker or Triple H. Kind of had that feel, kind of had that electricity to it.
And the chemistry, I think.
Yes.
The chemistry was electric that night. And after that, there was a little I like how Cena when he won the match, went to fight the one that made was sitting in the front row tonight. He celebrated that. Which make obviously WWE and make have a good partnership there. So
yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know what, but he got. I mean, he was pretty excited to see.
They told a story, like, again, Cena with that what we call in TNA when P.D. Williams used that move was called a Canadian Destroyer, and I still kind of refer to it as a Canadian Destroyer. And then AJ, I believe, did he use Cena's move at one point?
That was pretty close to it, but he kind of like a face buster.
Almost CM Punkish, if you want to call it that.
Pretty close, but that was awesome. But that was yeah, it was bad form. I mean,
I was gonna say this is what Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns could have been or should have been a little.
Well, the Kevin was.
It was a little different style match.
I thought it was a great no DQ match, but this was from a pure wrestling standpoint, a classic. I mean,
and all those critics who says Cena can't wrestle and still say it, that's a bunch of BS. And another thing I want to mention about Ryback's comments over the past few months, I'm not in that locker room, and whatever happens between the locker room is in the locker room. But you kind of wonder what Ryback says, and it's like, don't you hear the same type of story with Triple H or Hulk Hogan or some of the greats that get highly criticized for burying people? It seems like it's a never-ending political thing that's happened over the course of God knows how long. I mean, would you rather it not be? Yes, I would not like to see that, but it seems like it makes no difference who they put in the top guy. He's always going to have some sort of criticism. I think Ryback, where his criticism is warranted.
I don't know. We only hear his side of the story. Where John Cena has not come up out with his side yet. So
yeah, I would agree with you on that. I would like to see what John Cena says, if he says anything about it. But yeah, I had to go on a side tangent because for all the criticism that some of these wrestlers get that match tonight And especially the pros of AJ Styles talking about seeing how you didn't work the indies and all that sort of stuff, and all the talk that AJ's put over the past year or so against Cena. Whether they're trying to work some reality in the storyline or whatever case may be. It is.
That was truly refreshing to see kind of the old fight, a little bit of the old fight nonsense. There's the SmackDown before Rumble. That was pretty impressive there.
I'm just taking a long-term storyline between these two, trying to tie it in a little bit. But again, I just like going back to my original point. This match is going to be graded as A plus 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 infinity.
Wow. That was a pretty high grade. A plus plus plus. I don't know if you're gonna hang it higher than.
Okay, A plus, but I feel like it exceeded that as far as the overall match, the storytelling, the in-ring performance, the crowd involvement, everything.
I think it had you on the edge. It had you on the edge of your seat.
Yes, it did.
I really watch it.
Definitely dramatical. Now for the least dramatical of the actual event, the Royal Rumble itself. Jimmy, if I were to tell you that there were less surprises than a one-armed bandit for this year's Royal Rumble, I would be not lying. Roman Reigns being 300, there's been a lot of debate about.
I think it's Ty
Dillinger. Nothing wrong with that. Big Show, Mark Henry. Okay, Big Show, yes, we were expecting, but Mark Henry, well, a nice surprise. But I would have rather seen Samoa Joe debut in some respects at the Royal Rumble, but say debuted the night after. I was really expecting to see Samoa Joe in the Royal Rumble. Towards the end, it seemed like. And the critics that say about the lack of storytelling in some respects. Yes, I can see where you're heading with that. But the biggest thing that I was left scratching my head is Randy Orton.
Well, they went the safe route. Now,
it was a surprise. It was a surprise. I thought
there was a surprise there. I think what made Brock Lesnar when next week Goldberg.
And then the next one you're thinking Taker. I thought Taker's going to win.
That was probably the most surprising Roman Reigns on the Undertaker.
Do you see the interaction after Taker got eliminated?
Oh, I saw that.
It felt like you were being clued to this was going to be the WrestleMania between Reigns and Taker. Even though I think people want to see Cena versus Taker. Again, that tease after Taker got eliminated would relatively have me thinking that Reigns would be facing Taker at Mania. But I believe probably Reigns is going to face Strowman at the next Raw pay-per-view.
Fastlane.
And Fastlane. I think maybe the Undertaker will probably come out if Reigns wins that match.
Well, we don't know for sure.
I'm kind of making a prediction because I feel like that's where the storyline may go. But anyway, I'll let you go to your thoughts.
Well, the Royal Rumble match, it's obviously always about unpredictability, and certainly this has had most of the the way it's sliced, this part, I would have thought Mojo.
It's shocking, but not surprising since they're setting up the WrestleMania feud with Brock Lesnar. We already knew about that.
No, I get you on that. I think I would have thought they would have started out number one. Goldberg probably number 1, 2, kind of like a battle.
Those big guns though weren't spread out for the Royal Rumble. You Taker, Goldberg, Lesnar, uh, Sami Zayn. Orton, it was kind of conglomerated into like the last half of the Royal Rumble, last 10 entrants, or last
But didn't you
8.
see? But didn't you see? Oh man, certified bona stud.
Oh yeah, Enzo got squashed. Enzo got squashed.
I
I don't know if I agree with Enzo being squashed.
well, by Brock Lesnar of all people.
Yeah, that I didn't really necessarily agree with. I think Enzo could have been a little bit earlier and used a little bit better, but that's far be it for me. I like Enzo more. I like Big Cass, but that's just my opinion. I don't know how this ties into the storyline with Rusev. I think they just ended the storyline with Rusev and Jinder Mahal. Feels like Big Cass and Enzo are kind of falling off a cliff a little bit.
Well, I probably have found the problem is the booking. Now I'm going to switch to Monday Night Raw here. I'm going to switch to Monday Night Raw here.
Seth Rollins used early in your podcast. His official is actually injured. He injured his right knee.
We'll bring that up in a second. We'll bring up that part in a second. But speaking of Rollins, he called out Triple H. What was supposed to be the big build up for Wrestling 30. Now comes Samoa Joe.
That was late in the entrance, but Braun Strowman, told Kevin Owens that he wanted his title shot, and that's why he cost Roman Reigns.
They didn't agree to. But that was agreement.
Obviously, we know Reigns interfered in that match. Stemming from last night, I believe Sami Zayn beat Chris Jericho now in title match, and I didn't pay attention to that one. I pay attention to pre-match before Bayley, Cesaro, and Sheamus. All that, the Flair, Gallus, Anderson. I did not. I guess I saw Bayley pin Charlotte, but I don't think I watched too much of the match. And I saw Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax turn on that again. Speaking of Nia Jax, seems like you're trying to battle with Sasha Banks. I'm not complaining about that.
Well, I saw the pre-match better one, such I don't. It's Sasha.
They are trying to build Nia as an unstoppable force, but the way
Sasha be turning heel, that's the question. Pre-match. She's not going to. So we got now be dynamic. Billy was the title. Sasha.
You could make the case though, as much as they build Nia Jax up. I know they'd use jobbers and our wrestling promotions, but I would have thought after a few weeks, I would have thought Nia would have a little bit more competition and better competition beginning than have full of jobbers, which feels to me like the credibility of being a bad person, Dominant Force is not totally credible in some respects, but again, they've done it that way too with different talents and stuff. So we'll see how the long-term career of Nia Jax goes. I had to bring that up, but it was a little side note to go. Anyway, Brock Lesnar showed up last night too. Oh, I mean Monday night, and that definitely they set up the WrestleMania match with Goldberg, and then Seth Rollins came out after that. Talked about frustrations with Stephanie, which was interesting, and then she revealed that
Triple H was on his way. They're
and when Triple H showed up, he just you see his promo talking about he made him and now he wants to break him, that whole angle, and he's trying not to get involved, get back. He's talking about the creator, and then the guy who I just talked about a few minutes ago, Samoa Joe, makes his debut and attack Rollins. obviously Triple H had sent him, but during that exchange, sorry for my words, Rollins gets re-injured with that knee.
Which now it's going to be a big question of what they, because
I think they're going to set up a match with Triple H, but Samoa Joe be a robot block and Seth Rollins' way.
But now the injury, of course, now he's in some latest setback here. It was reported this morning that Rollins did suffer a knee injury. So I was just raised. It was like re-injury. Hopefully, it's not as severe as It kind of it's that things are up in the air right now. So you wonder, how serious is his knee injury? Because the last time he injured his knee was torn ACL, and he was out for literally 6 to 9 months practically. So this is obviously going to be a big thriller in my opinion, because he was built on the big. We believe we're going to have a big mega match with Triple H at WrestleMania. Now we don't know what the status. We don't really know what the status is right now. It says that I think now that we're number one, how serious is the knee injury itself? Does if it's another torn. How long is he going to be out? Because he was clearly gained some momentum late, and for him to go, I don't know what that's going to do with the whole. How he's going to, because now this is the second injury with that injury he's had within the last 2 years. So it begs the question. That's are they going to go on until SummerSlam? It's a real injury.
I know that you would have to bet, but this setback could probably help the storyline a little bit more. As much as they want to set up at WrestleMania, I think once Seth comes back, it will. Joe and Seth will be Triple H using Samoa Joe as a handpicked. Obviously, like I just stated earlier, there will be a match with Samoa Joe.
Okay, so
maybe a few matches.
Here's a comment from Seth Rollins from today. Here he's quote, "Why take a second to thank everyone who reached out to me over the last 2 days? Life doesn't always go your way, but that's no option to surrender. This re-injury to my surgery is real, and a lot is up right now. One thing remains constant: this doesn't end for I work hard and push up beyond what I know. This isn't no way to where the king. I know what must be done to stop me. That was Rollins. Of course, you see our questions there when you walk there. So how? I mean, there's what test us now. Don't really know. For sure. So while we Seth Rollins, but again, again, you hold again. I don't know how you hope that it's not as bad as it. You're hoping that this re-injury is not severe, but again, this is but again, this is the same knee that he's surgically repaired. So that's going to be the big, that's a big question. How is he going to miss? How long is it going to be surgery again, or is it just a case where he afforded a month to? Is that surgery again, or is it just a case where he?
Not sure. Is my microphone's working? Try this.
Is that surgery again, or is it just a case where he?
Okay. That was probably echo off of the live feed when I have it up, but can you understand me?
Yeah, now I can understand you, Frank. I'm like, what the heck's going
You were
on?
talking too fast, and all of a sudden it was like da 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 da. I was like, what?
I didn't even know actually it was doing that. I guess it's like the live streams. Yeah, you just never know what when you hear yourself in person. Like, oh shoot, what the heck?
So you seen SmackDown too? I didn't watch too much of it. I only watched the highlights, so I can't really comment on that. So I was the next pay-per-view for Raw's Fastlane and then the Elimination Chamber. I'm gonna try to do another podcast with Quigley after, I want to say, February. I think they're going to Barbados for a rugby tournament, which is cool. I'm rooting for them. Just again, it's like it was definitely tough. Sucks that Emerson couldn't join us. I feel bad because I kept telling different things. I said he would be joining the show, and things did not work out. So we'll have to have Emerson join us on a podcast again.
But before we go here, a little some news out of the NHL. St. Louis Fires Ken Hitch died. His last season as coaching. Your reaction?
It's tough to have a reaction since I haven't followed too much of the team. But Ken is a great coach, and I think, from my understanding, the goalie situation and just the bind that he's put himself in for him being coaching the St. Louis Blues for this season, and after that, Mike Yeo is going to take over from the team.
Well, Mike Yeo is taking over the team as of this moment.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, it's tough. So, anyway, your reaction? I have not too much to say.
I'm a little surprised. I was a little surprised here, but obviously with the goaltending situation the way it is right now, I mean, I kind of wish he could have stayed. Mike Yeo was coaching the Wild for 5 seasons. It's a little bittersweet. I mean, a little bittersweet. He has an emotional day. Ken Hedger was wins. So again, it's a little bit of a stun here, but obviously the goal to not get so they decided to make the move. And so again, I want to do that. I like to say the Sabres and kind of now probably one of our next trade deadline. What should the Sabres do here? We also want we're trying to get WrestleMania, a whole bunch of stuff. So stay tuned in for more of our podcast. We're going to do a better job with our people. I actually want to see more debate. We want to get enough. I want to see our followers ask us some questions on topics here. Harper.
I'll try to get more of a gang together for with Quigley. If I can get like Jonathan Higgins or Kieran's in Canada, so I don't know if I can really get to do with that with him. Joe, no, not Joe. Emerson, I'll try. Who else can I get? Kraus. I'll try to get Kraus involved. So I have a lot of work to do between now and the next podcast.
Exactly.
All right, this will be the end of our podcast. We will see you shortly.
Oh, Samoa asked Rob if he was okay. I guess Samoa Joe is concerned.
I guess that's just breaking news. But other than that, now we can end our podcast. See you guys.